Let me ask you something. How many nights have you spent lying in the dark, wide awake, waiting for sleep like it's some kind of mercy you have to earn? How many times have you stared at the ceiling at 2:41 a.m., eyes open, chest tight, begging your brain to shut up? You think you're the only one? I've seen this more times than I can count. Women, men, retirees, caregivers, widows, empty nesters, overthinkers, warriors in their own homes. The common thread? They can't sleep, and they think it's their fault. Let me be crystal clear, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And tonight, right now, I'm going to tell you the truth, not the sugar-coated. Drink your chamomile tea and hope for the best version. I'm talking about the raw, real, disruptive truth that might just flip your nights around. If you're willing to hear it, let's get one thing straight. Lying in bed for hours, waiting for sleep to return, is the worst thing you can do. It doesn't relax you. It doesn't help. It trains your brain to associate bed with frustration, not rest. So here's rule number one. If you're awake for more than 20 minutes, get up. I don't care what time it is. I don't care if it's 1:23 a.m. or 4:07 a.m. Get out of bed. You want to break the insomnia cycle? This is where it begins. And no, don't turn on the news. Don't scroll your phone. Don't open email. You're not up to stimulate. You're up to reset. You step out of bed because you're training your brain. This bed is for sleep, nothing else. And then what? That's where most people freeze. They say, what am I supposed to do at 3 in the morning? Good. You're asking the right question. And I've got answers. Not fluff, not fantasy. Actionable answers. Here's what I've prescribed to dozens of patients. And I'm giving it to you right now. Write something. Not a journal entry. Not a trauma dump. I'm talking about something with structure, something your brain can grip. Write a letter to someone. Anyone. Someone you miss. Someone who hurt you. Someone who saved you. Or someone you wish you could thank. Don't think about who will read it. That's irrelevant. What matters is that your brain gets to shift focus. From chaos to clarity. From noise to language. From spinning to building. You're not a writer? Doesn't matter. This is an art. It's therapy through action. I once worked with a woman in her 70s. Widow, 2 kids grown, both overseas. She told me she hadn't slept through the night in over a year. We talked about structure, about nighttime rituals, but nothing stuck. Until one night, she got up and wrote a letter to her husband. He'd been gone for 5 years. But in that letter, she said everything that had been trapped in her chest. She fell asleep 2 hours later. And the next night, it happened again. Not because she was cured, but because she stopped waiting and started moving. Insomnia hates momentum. You give yourself a task, even a small one, and suddenly, the spell breaks. Now let's talk about another tool, one you're probably overlooking. Make a list. Not just any list. A focused one. A list that pulls you into memory, structure, logic. Make a list of the 10 most defiant things you've ever done. Make a list of books that shaped you. Make a list of places you still want to see before you die. Make a list of people you've forgiven or haven't. Why does this matter? Because insomnia thrives in vagueness, in loops, in emotional fog. When you build a list, your brain starts sorting, organizing, categorizing, creating rhythm. And rhythm is sleep's best friend. This is not just anecdotal. This is cognitive science. You redirect your mind from default mode chaos into task-oriented calm. Still think writing and listing sound too soft? Fine. Let's go physical. Get up. Walk the house. Do something with your hands. Clean one drawer. Polish your shoes. Wipe down a surface. Organize your spice rack. Again, this isn't about productivity. It's about reclaiming your environment. Because nothing breeds helplessness like lying in bed for 3 hours, waiting for salvation. When you move, even a little, you reclaim agency. One of my clients, a retired ER nurse, told me she now cleans her kitchen backsplash at 2 a.m. Why? Because it reminds her that her hands still know how to fix things, that she's still capable. You think that has nothing to do with sleep? You'd be wrong. Sleep isn't just about the body winding down. It's about safety, control, autonomy, certainty. When you take charge of your space, even silently, even briefly, you tell your nervous system, I'm not stuck. I'm not helpless. I'm still in charge. That message goes deeper than you think. Now let's get even more uncomfortable. Some of you are afraid to be awake. You're not just tired, you're scared. Because when the world goes quiet, your mind gets loud. and the truth you've been avoiding all day shows up like a spotlight. That's not insomnia's fault. That's an invitation. An invitation to face what's been haunting you. I'm not saying do it all at once, but stop pretending that your insomnia is just a body problem. For some of you, it's emotional backlog. So what do? Don't drown in it. Contain it. Name it. Shape it. Put words to what's chasing you. Draw it. Write it. Speak it out loud. Even whispering into the dark is better than letting it rot in silence. This is what separates sleepers from sufferers. Sleep isn't just physical. It's psychological surrender. And surrender only comes when there's trust. In your bed, in your body, and in your own mind. You have to earn that trust back. But you do it with action, with repetition, with guts. And if all of this sounds intense good, it should be. Because I'm tired of seeing people suffer quietly, night after night, waiting for some magical cure that will never come. You want better sleep? Then stop romanticizing stillness. Get up. Get moving. Get honest. Sleep will follow the moment you stop chasing it and start respecting it. Not as a gift, but as a response to what you do when you're awake. You're still with me? Good. Because now we go deeper. Let me say something that most so-called sleep experts won't dare say out loud. You don't have a sleep problem. You have a thinking problem. And your 2 a.m. insomnia? It's just your mind doing what you've trained it to do. Run wild the moment the world gets quiet. Here's what I've seen over and over again. People spend their days avoiding, numbing, distracting, and then wonder why the night hits like a truck. You can't dodge your own thoughts forever. At some point, the silence catches up. So what do you do with that? Here's what you don't do. You don't lie there, trapped in some emotional quicksand, begging for unconsciousness. You get up, and you face the damn thing. I had a client, 68 years old, retired corporate exec. Looked polished on the outside, but every night, he unraveled. He told me, "It's like there's a courtroom in my head. All my regrets are on the stand." You know what I told him? Good. Let the trial begin. Don't run. Cross-examine. Take notes. Write those regrets down like witnesses. Let them speak. Then let them go. By month 2, he was sleeping 5 straight hours. No meds, no tricks. Just the discipline to confront instead of escape. Because guess what? You don't outsleep unresolved grief. You outgrow it, one night at a time. Let's shift gears. You want science? I'll give you science. Most people don't realize this, but sleep isn't a straight line. It comes in waves. You cycle in and out of light and deep sleep multiple times a night. It's natural to wake up briefly. What's unnatural is the panic spiral you fall into when it happens. You wake up at 3:12 a.m., you check the clock, and boom, adrenaline hits. What if I don't fall back asleep? I have to function tomorrow. What's wrong with me? Let me be blunt. The clock is not your friend. Looking at the time when you're awake in the middle of the night is like pouring gasoline on a fire. So here's a rule. Tattoo it on your forehead if you need to. If you wake up in the night, do not check the time. Not on your phone. Not on your alarm clock. Not anywhere. Because knowing it's 3:27 a.m. gives you nothing useful. All it does is trigger stress, and stress is the exact hormone that kills sleep. No awareness equals no anxiety. And if you do wake up and the thoughts come rushing, don't resist them. Redirect them. I tell my clients this. Give your brain a job, or it will create one you don't want. What kind of job? Something neutral. Something repetitive. Something with rhythm. Count backward from 100 by threes. Mentally walk through the floor plan of every home you've ever lived in. Recite state capitals in alphabetical order. Why? Because these tasks are just demanding enough to keep your brain busy, but boring enough to let sleep slip back in. You don't need perfect silence. You don't need to be horizontal. You need your brain to stop catastrophizing and start coasting. Still think that sounds silly? Then you're not desperate enough yet. The people who do this, who really commit to mastering their night hours, they find out something remarkable. They stop fearing the night. And that is the turning point. Now, let me talk to the overachievers. The planners. The control freaks. You know who you are. You try to control sleep like it's a task on your to-do list. You schedule it, optimize it, track it on your watch. And then you wonder why your sleep feels mechanical and fragile. Let me break it to you. You cannot hack sleep. You surrender to it. You create the conditions. Then you let go. The letting go part? That's the hard bit. That's what all your productivity tools can't do for you. So here's the brutal truth. If you want deep sleep, you have to get comfortable with not being in control. You have to build a lifestyle that respects sleep as a living rhythm, not as a checkbox. Let me ask you something bold. What if your best ideas come at 3 a.m. for a reason? What if your insomnia isn't a flaw, but a signal? The middle of the night is a threshold, a moment when the surface noise dies and your core self starts whispering. But you have to listen. You have to stop labeling every midnight awakening as a failure. Sometimes, it's your subconscious knocking on the door with something you've been too distracted to hear during the day. I've seen writers, painters, caregivers, scientists, all use their wakeful hours as a kind of creative cave, not to escape sleep, but to meet themselves more fully. Now, I'm not saying insomnia is a gift. Let's not romanticize suffering. But I am saying, if you're awake anyway, make it count. Don't waste the night in dread. Use it, shape it, transform it. Because here's what nobody tells you. You don't fix insomnia at night. You fix it during the day. You move more. You get light in your eyes before 10 a.m. You cut the caffeine. You eat earlier. You honor a wind-down ritual. And most of all, you stop letting the night define your worth. Let me close with this. Insomnia doesn't win because you're weak. It wins because you stay passive. It feeds off fear, repetition, helplessness. But the moment you act, even a small action, the entire dynamic shifts. You stop being a victim. You become a participant. And eventually, you become the one in charge again. So the next time you wake up at 2:43 a.m., don't panic. Don't beg. Don't spiral. Get up. Write something. Move. Count backward. Face what's real. And then, only then, invite sleep back in like an equal, not a master. Because you are not broken. You're just untrained. And trust me, that can change. Sleep is not your enemy. It's your partner. But it won't lead unless you learn how to follow and when to take the lead. And that starts tonight. If this woke something up in you, good. Share this video with someone else who's battling the night. Let's stop suffering in silence. Comment below, what's the one thing you'll do differently tonight? And if you want more truths like this, the kind that don't sugarcoat the problem, you know where to find me. I'll be here, speaking the language of action, not hope. Because sleep isn't found, it's earned.